Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 100% human video. Today, with a little bit of a tier list, as you can already see. I'm gonna talk about the bosses, and I'm also gonna talk about the setup I put here, because I don't think it is necessary to talk about all of these, at least not in depth. Some I will, some I won't. I'm going to go through the minor bosses first, at least the ones that are down here still. And then after that, we're gonna jump over to the major boss fights, which would be the Remembrances bosses. And this is kind of like, you know, more of a structure then, so you guys know what you'll find here on YouTube. There's a category down here. I'm gonna move myself a little bit. It's NPC/recycled. It's like the bosses that are, copy-paste almost. NPC boss fights with like different weapons, of course. Bosses like Count Ymir, which has a little bit more of a twist to it, of course, or the Ancient Dragon Man as well. But in its structure, it's an NPC boss fight, so I'm not gonna talk about it much, you know? Regardless, let's start with the bosses down here. And the first one we talk about is the Jagged Peak Drake. It's like that duo Drake boss fight, or they are like there are two dragons, they fight against each other. And you basically come into that fight and have to beat like one of those. I don't know, they changed the dragon moveset a little bit, so I wouldn't necessarily call it like a completely recycled fight. And the twist that these dragons fight each other is also kind of alright. But I would put it into a D tier, B or C tier boss. Ancient Dragon Zenithax. Oh man, I really do not enjoy these types of dragons, to be honest. Like, there's just so much going on in terms of like follow-up attacks, and I really don't like these kind of dragons. Like, I would say they're a little better than the double dragon boss fight here, because I do not enjoy these double fights for some reason. I'm not like a big fan of it. I would also put it into D tier right next to the Jagged Peak Dragons. From like a casual perspective and also from a hitless perspective, both. So now we have these two Black Knights, like Edred and Garrow. The only difference is obviously their weapons. I did enjoy Edred, actually. I like the moveset. I like the face transition. I enjoyed the rolls, and I enjoyed in general fighting him for some reason. I would put him like in higher C tier, or, you know, I would definitely go with C tier here. I like him definitely more than the dragon boss fights. While this one, with his like club and the shield, I would rather put into a higher D tier. Just because of the weapon change and the moveset change, I personally do not enjoy it as much. Lamenter. First time I fought him a couple of days ago, I did not find the Lamenter in my first playthrough. It has kind of a nice mechanic. I would put him into C tier as well. Definitely a little higher up than Edred. You start crying during the fight at some point if you don't kill the clones or something. And you get this cool mask that you can, you know, turn yourself into an omen, which is kind of nice. So it has some cool lore aspect to it as well. I would put it into a C tier. It's a cool boss, you know? Chief of the Blood Fiend. Also, a really cool boss. I would say even better than the Lamenter. I did enjoy this fight a lot. These jumping attacks and how you could roll it. I don't know, sometimes I go into a boss room and then I fight the boss for the first time and he immediately clicks, you know? Like it's so well telegraphed and it clicks, and it was the same for this guy. Curse Blade Le Birth. Definitely lower somewhere. I appreciate the mechanic. I'm gonna put it into a low C tier, or even D up here. Yeah, I'm gonna put him into D up here. I appreciate the cool mechanic with the room being dark and all, but overall I'd say, I don't know, it's just not my, you know, it's just not my jam. It's not one of my favorites. But this one is Death Knight version 1. And I can also immediately pull version 2 because they're very similar to each other. They have different weapons, of course, a little bit of a different moveset. But I would almost put them into B, both. This one I like a little bit less. So I'm gonna put him like down below the other one. I like both Death Knights fights, and I also like both weapons you get from these Death Knight fights. I really enjoyed both of these fights. I think these bosses might be highly underrated by most players. They're a lot of fun. Oh man, the bears. I don't know. It's like of a advanced Rune Bear moveset, right? They're definitely further down. Like C, both C. They're not that cool, but also not as bad as the dragons. So I'm gonna put them down into C tier, both of them. They're very similar to each other. It's cool, you know, and I kind of appreciate the Rune Bear moveset as well, but it's definitely not worth a B tier, and it's also worse than the Chief Bloodfiend and worse than Edred. So I'm gonna put them down here. Cool boss. I really liked it. It's also a little overloaded, but I'm gonna put him like between Lamenter and Bloodfiend. I felt like it's a little bit like Yoda, you know, when you go into that room and there's this little guy spinning around and it had like the Star Wars flair. I really enjoyed the boss fight itself. It was like a quick one because he staggers really quickly, right? It's a cool boss. I did like it. So this is not a boss fight. I don't know why it's on the list, but I'm going to talk about it regardless. The Furnace Golem. The first time, really cool. You know, when you fight them the first time, and it's impressive. They stagger, they fall over. You like get the stagger twice, and then there's a second version where you have to throw the furnace pots into them. It's cool, but it gets old really quick, so I gotta put them down here somewhere. Maybe even down below the dragons, because it's, I don't know, it gets like stale. After you do it like twice, you're like, man, go ahead, stagger already, you know? Ghost Flame Drake version 1 and version 2. They're better than these two drakes, but still, I don't know. There's this one encounter, I think it's version 1, where version 2, where you fight, you know, where you're like intermingled in a boss fight again, which is annoying. The first one you encounter at the very beginning, right, in that lake / pond or whatever it may be. I would say worse than the bears, and this one was annoying. Like, I would have put him even further down, like maybe in between these two dragons. I just find it annoying because the other enemies focus random on you as well, and either you wait until the dragon kills all the enemies, but it takes a while, and you know. I mean, you played the game as well, so you probably know. Now we gotta go to the more interesting ones, starting with the Golden Hippo. The Golden Hippo is kind of a nice fight, I'd say. It's definitely up here with the Death Knight. I would say it's like not as good as the Death Knights. It staggers relatively quickly. The face transition is cool. The rolls have to be really precise, but you can learn it, and you learn the moveset kind of nicely because you kill all of these hippos throughout, you know, your journey. Feel free to obviously post your opinion down below into chat or into the comment box, it's called on YouTube, right? Yori is a real I don't like Yori at all. I have to put him, like, I don't know if I should put him into E tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put him into E tier. I'm sorry, Yori, but I don't like him at all. Like, there is so much going on. Like, there's a cool loop where you can backstab him, and then you can backstab him again, and you can until he's dead, of course. But the moment he gets out of that loop, he's just straight up annoying. There are like a million summons. They shoot from all angles, all sides. It's just so overblown. I don't like going into the arena, and I do not appreciate that I have to kill this guy to go to one of the best bosses. Divine Beast, definitely up here B tier boss. A cool boss. Annoying move set as well. I haven't really understood it yet. This might change over time, but I really, really love the OST. It's one of the best OSTs From Software ever made. It looks really, really cool. It's just that sometimes when it goes into the lightning phase and shoots and attacks you, and then there are the lightnings around you, it feels like a little unfair almost. Commander Gaius is next. He's one of my favorite bosses. He's an A tier boss. When you fight him light roll, also that annoying charge attack is like very easily dodgeable. A tier boss. I really, really, really like it. I know that many people disagree with that. I personally think he has a fantastic moveset. And a very fair moveset as well, apart from the charge. I totally understand when you're mid-rolled and you get like charged over and over again. I had it happen to me as well. It's annoying, but yeah, there has to be always this one attack, right? Mesmer the Impaler, there's no question about that this is an S tier boss fight. This is not only my favorite boss fight in the DLC, and I said that already. This is, in my opinion, one of the best bosses From Software ever created. I still have to learn it. I'm not very good at the fight yet. We killed him like hitless once or twice now, but he's a really, really cool boss, and I enjoy the moveset a lot, and he's like very fine-tuned, and he's definitely one of the S tier bosses overall. Like one of my absolute From Software favorites, and one of the best boss in the DLC. Curse you, Bale. Down below Gaius, I'd say, but also an A tier boss. He's very flashy, he's fair. He has just this one attack that's a little bit problematic, and that is the Flame Breath. The Flame Breath somewhat tracks you and can bounce off the walls as well and hits you when it really shouldn't hit you. Other than that, I fought him like for many hours and I really, really like him a lot. Like also the flashiness, you know, the cinema aspect of the fight is Meteor, Mother of Fingers, I don't know, lower B tier. I don't even want to talk about it too much. Now the Golden Hippo is probably even cooler. I only put it lower B tier because of this one laser attack. I don't know why they did that, to be honest. It is literally undodgeable with almost anything other than maybe Ash of War, you know, Raptors of the Mist or what it's called. For me, it completely destroys the fight, and I do not like it that much, to be honest. Midra, another S tier boss, absolute banger. Maybe Mesmer a little bit better than Midra, but absolute banger of a boss fight. Insane boss, you can no-roll it. It's just super, super sexy. If you learn this fight, it looks so clean. It's a lot of fun learning it as well. I think Midra is where FromSoftware shines. Midra and Mesmer are absolutely insane. I don't know, sometimes FromSoft makes these bosses where they are just so on point, and then you have like Yori, you know? The Putrescent Knight is also down here with the Meteor. I do not like him that much. I like these more. He has a wonky moveset. It's kind of like coolish, but it's still, I don't know. There's this horse scream attack, for example, that comes out of nowhere. There's many more things that I do not like about the Putrescent Knight, to be honest. Overall, like, it looks kind of cool, and most of the attacks are cool and very well telegraphed, except for that they are, like, super delayed, some of them. The Scadutree Avatar is the next one. I really liked them at the beginning very, very, very much, but it dropped down below Bale for sure. You know, we're gonna go with the low A tier. Scadutree Avatar was a good boss. It is a good boss. I just am not good at it, and I have to learn it still. I like the charge attack a lot when it starts like, meow, you know, charging around. It's super cool. And I really enjoyed that. So lower A tier. Relana is definitely the highest A tier boss. A beautiful boss fight. Resembles, what do you call him? Pontiff a little bit, right? Sullivan. Beautiful music. Very cool moveset. Like hard moveset though. Very hard moveset to learn. But I like Relana a lot. Maybe down below Gaius or like next to Gaius. They're both the same, you know? They are like on the perfectly same level, I'd say. And it's obviously going to change a little bit for me over the, you know, over the course of the next coming weeks when I learn these bosses more and I run this game more. I like Romina. The only thing I do not like, I'm going to put her highest B tier. The only thing I do not like about Romina, no, I'm going to put her up here because that's literally the only thing I don't like about Romina is the face transition. Like the face transition is so obnoxious when you're close and she decides to transition, then you cannot get away from it. You always have to take that hit or that death or whatever it may be. That's a little bit annoying. I don't know why FromSoft chose to do that, to punish us so hard for face transitions on this DLC. That happens not only on Romina. Other than that, really cool boss. I like the design. I like the attacks. And I enjoyed the fight overall. And now to Radahn. That is a real tough one to rate because it's so incredibly hard to fight. We killed him hitless once and it took me 15 hours to do it. The hardest boss FromSoft ever made, and I have to like still learn this for weeks to really, you know, understand it. I put it into B tier, but somewhere in between here. I'm gonna put him down below Bale. That's probably a good position. What I do not like about it most is the hair. Like Miquella's hair are so annoying in second phase because you have to basically position yourself to the side, you know? And when you do so, like these hair are just everywhere. I don't know why they chose this design, but that's just what they wanted to do, right? So I guess it's all right. So this is what we have, guys. If you have a different opinion, feel free to, you know, write it down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this tier list here, guys. And if so, you know, maybe give it a like or subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Or if you want to be part of the live experience, come over to Twitch. I'm live every day with challenge runs. Deathless, hitless, all like DLC challenge runs. Thank you very much for watching. I see you in the next video. Love you. Say it back.